Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And this is Kendra. If you are familiar with my channel, yes, she is a frequent guest. She is 15. We are being shot on November 23rd. You guys will be seeing this later in December. So we are continuing mysteries. So this is Sherlock Holmes and the Disappearing Diamond by Sam Hearn. So this is obviously a children's book. It appears to be the first book in the Baker Street Academy series. I am not familiar with this series. This is just a very interesting little book. So this is obviously, it is in fact a children's book. It is very, very interesting. It takes place in modern day. So with a Sherlock Holmes, well, here, I'll read off the cast of characters because it has it in the beginning of the book. So, this is, you have Sherlock Holmes, big brain or big-headed, we'll see. Most likely to, who knows, he's such a mystery. John Watson, the new kid at school, loves writing, drawing, eating cookies, and drinking hot chocolate. Most likely to be a doctor, maybe. His parents are doctors. He's been out of the country because his parents have been traveling around. So, or at least, yes. And so he's just returned to London. Martha Hudson, the class leader, funny and super confident, most likely to succeed at everything. So that's kind of, this is the picture. This is the pictures of the main characters. James Moriarty. If you're familiar with the Sherlock Holmes series, this is Sherlock's arch nemesis. Sherlock's nemesis, he's annoying, selfish, and always where you don't want him to be. Most likely to take over the world. Martin and Henry Baker, twin brothers whose dad is a detective inspector at the Scotland Yard. Most likely to follow their father's footsteps and become crime-fighting duo. Daz loses everything, yes, everything. Most likely to become a life coach when he figures himself out. So, Bart, John's old pal from elementary school days, fresh-faced, friendly, and super cool. He doesn't actually show up in this book all that much. Most likely to become a graphic designer. Mr. Gap, the coolest teacher in the school, making learning fun since forever. Most likely to go down in Baker Street history. Bakersville, the coolest doggy detective ever. He can sniff out a custard cream cookies miles away. Most likely to get belly rubs. Okay, and so that is this page. So, in this story, obviously it's fictionalized. It's a mixture of, it's not quite a graphic novel, though you obviously have graphic novel points here, and you see stuff like that. And then you see various different writings. This is but then you get pages like this, where it's regular writing. So it's an interesting little mystery. So at this school, it's he's just come to school. He meets Sherlock, who is very much, in essence, Sherlock Holmes, only he's an adolescent boy in modern era. And so they are doing, pointedly, a presentation on the Victorian era. Sorry, this is when Sherlock Holmes actually takes place, the original anyway. And they go to the museum and there's a diamond theft. And at first this guy is caught with, they think is the diamond, and then it turns out to be a fake diamond, and there's all sorts of controversy around the diamond. It turns out the stolen one is still in there, and it supposedly argued that it belongs to the Moriarty family because they were part of the original finding of this diamond in India. There's also a curse on the thing, because of course there is, but it's an interesting little story. They find out, of course, because Holmes has figured it all out, that their new teacher is actually an inspector. They're thinking it's going to be stolen. And the guy who originally was arrested is let go, but he's actually trying to steal it for Moriarty's father, who's apparently a professor. And again, they think they own it because it was their ancestor was part of those who found it, and then he was kicked off the team because he was a dick. So this very much plays into the essence of a Sherlock Holmes story. The character of Sherlock Holmes, despite being a young boy, is very much Sherlock Holmes. He's extremely confusing. He's very arrogant. He has a big brain. He drives people crazy, and yet he's a nice guy. Trying to think if he plays the violin. He might play the violin. But you add in Martha, and that's where she lives near the school with her mother. I think her mother's a professor. I'm pretty sure where they live in London is well, actually, no, it's in California, sorry. It's a college town. So that's why, at least I think, yes, it's California. Because of course it is. Let me see, where the heck are they? Yes. I believe they're in, yes. No, they are in London, not California. Maybe I was reading a different book. Where is this? London, California? Let's see. Let me see. Where is this taking place? He's late for school. But you see a lot of pages where there's a lot of... It's kind of very graphic novel-ish. So, they may be in London. So, yes, I believe they were actually... For some why on earth did I think it was in California? Apparently he was off in Afghanistan. His dad works in the armed forces. So they were doctors. So they've lived in all sorts of places. Just from the banging of the door, which is probably the dog. Or the cat. We don't have a dog. I'm thinking about the dog in this book. Of course, this is when you first see Sherlock Holmes, who's messing around with syrup and messing around. Of course, you first meet him in the chemistry lab. So, which of course you do, because that's where you meet the original Sherlock Holmes, is you meet him in a chemistry lab at a university. That's where you would meet. If you'll go back, I just reviewed The Study in Scarlet, which is the first Sherlock Holmes story. So this is very similar. And you get the introduction to Watson and Sherlock and Martha, who they all end up staying with at the end, because Sherlock's brother, who he lives with, is going off somewhere, possibly to university, so he's going to be staying with Martha's family, Martha's mother and her. It's 8 o'clock at night. I have a sick 5-year-old who's been coughing and being a 5-year-old and still bouncing off the walls, because of course she does. But back to this. So at the end of the book, Watson's parents are going off to the Doctors Without Borders or something. They're going off to at the end of this book. Yes. They're off to a medical base camp somewhere. So they are going to be, so yes, at the end of this, he is staying with Martha and her mother, Miss Hudson. So I'm not sure if that's the name of the lady that they live in, but that's where they end up at Baker Street, besides the fact that the school is the Baker Street Academy. So it's a cute story. It's fun. It's easy to read. It's not your traditional book, as you can see. And just open a random page. Again, you get pages like this, and then pages like this over here, where it's a mixture of dialogue and what amounts to be the journal entries of Dr. Watson, which again is in going with the original Sherlock Holmes. So this book is, let's see how many pages it is. Let's see, acknowledgements. 146 pages, well, sort of. That's the last page. So it's also interesting because at the very end, it has how to draw the main characters. You can draw the dog, you can draw Watson, you can draw Martha, at least their heads. You can draw Sherlock. And do they show Moriarty or they just do these three? Yeah, they just do those three. So that's kind of the gist of it. So it's kind of cool that at the end they show you how to draw the characters. But it's an interesting book. It's definitely middle school, late elementary. So it's a great kind of introduction to mysteries. I'm going to do a quick look just because I have it and look up the author just really quickly here and see if there's more of these books. And not what I'm looking for. Sam Hearn in books. So let's see. Yes, Baker Street Academy. Let's see. Yeah, there it looks like it's showing. There's at least there's a second book called Baker Street Academy, Sherlock Holmes and the Baker Street Curse. So I don't know if there's, yeah, it just looks like there's in a 2-book series, so there might be more later. Do a quick double check to see if there's more on this author, and I can't see anything. But again, it's an interesting, hopefully maybe the series will continue. This came out in 2018, so, and jump into the Amazon books and look at his Baker Street Academy series and see when the second book came out. Not telling me. Click on it here. When did you come out? So that came out in 2018 as well. Did they both come out in 2018? When did this one come out? Yeah, it looks like they both come out in 2018. So we will see if there's more of these. But again, I enjoy them. The second one's probably pretty good. I may review it at a later date. But they're fun. They're entertaining. They're a great introduction to mysteries and Sherlock Holmes. Because I certainly wouldn't have middle school and elementary school kids dive into actual Sherlock Holmes, considering the study in Scarlet involves the crazy Mormons. Check out that video. Or read The Study in Scarlet. It's very, very weird. It's very, very weird. But it's an interesting book. You do not want children reading the original Sherlock Holmes. They won't understand it. This is fun. This is a great introduction to Sherlock Holmes. So that is it for this review. Yes, I will be doing mysteries through December. In fact, I'm going to be shooting 2 more videos involving Agatha Christie this evening. So, and that will be the books for this. So you will see those in the next couple of weeks. And I'll be doing a few films, and then we'll be moving on into next year, where we're pretty much doing fairy tales like crazy. I am covering Frozen in December, so that's also the Snow Queen. I'm doing some Lion King stuff in December. I have already covered the Princess and the Frog. You can check out that video. I've already reviewed Tiana. I may touch on her again at a later date, but so we're gonna deal with the Lion King because it exists. So, followed by a couple of other things. We're gonna pretty much covering all the Disney princesses that I haven't already. If you want some previews, I did Beauty and the Beast earlier this year. I have done Cinderella. I'm going to cover some more Cinderella because there's a heck of a lot of Cinderella going around. So, but like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.